Okay, I think we are all present, so I think we will get started. Thank you, everybody, for being here on this gloomy Friday, but it's Friday, and this is the best way to celebrate the end of the week for us. This is one of my most favorite things that I do in my position. I'm the Student Activities Director. I should probably introduce myself. I think I met almost everybody, but my name is Jennifer Ulix, and it's the funniest thing. When I send a pass for our students, when they get a pass to the office, any office, they're a little bit nervous because why would they be called down to the office, right? So you guys, well, I still want to get a candid camera behind my desk. I say this all the time because they come in and they're like, I got a pass to see you. They don't know who I am, most of them. And I ask them, have you ever been student of the month? And they're like, no. And when I tell them they're student of the month, their whole demeanor changes. It's like the stress melts away and they know they're not in trouble. And so that is the coolest thing. So congratulations again, students. Thank you, parents, for being here today to celebrate this wonderful honor. You're going to find out in just a minute why your student was selected for this. And I think it's pretty cool that each of the people that took time to recognize your son or daughter are recognizing them for a unique reason. And we don't give them specific criteria by which to choose a student, and that's why I think it's so special and unique, and you're gonna find out from those staff members why they were chosen. So before we get started, I would like to say some thank yous. First of all, to Wildcat Productions, who are filming today. You will receive a link in a couple of weeks of this ceremony. So students, you can forever see this. So in 10 years, 20 years, you'll look at your outfit, you'll look at your hair, you'll be like, what? Like we do, right? Thank you to Kelly Brogio. She does a lot of behind the scenes work for us and gets our invitations out. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you to Joseph and to Michelle. Oh, they're back there. They're going to take pictures today. You will also receive a copy of those photographs. And feel free to hop up if your student is up here and you want to take a picture. We'll just make them feel really awkward while they're up here. Students, it's all in good fun. We are proud of you, but you might feel a little uncomfortable today. You won't have to do or say anything. We'll just stare at you. And then last, but most importantly, we partner with Domino's Pizza, and Jack, who is over there by Kelly, he is the owner of our Domino's on Rockland, and he sends all of our students home with a certificate for a large free pizza. So thank you, Jack, for partnering with us. And students, you can feel free to share that pizza with your parents, or you can keep it all to yourselves, so you guys decide. And students, you will go home with a goodie bag, and inside this goodie bag is the write-up that your teachers submitted, so you'll get a copy of that in your booklet, in your packet, along with some other fun little Wildcat swag, okay? All right, so without further ado, if I can have, students, this is how it's gonna work. Teachers are going to come up, or staff members are going to come up, and students, you're going to stand right here next to the podium. Is the X there? Oh, the X is there. And the reason it's there is to make sure we get you in the frame of the camera. So students, come on up here. All you need to do is stand there because we're going to stare at you and celebrate your student of the monthness. And then we're going to take a photograph after the teacher speaks, and then you can go back to your chair, okay? All right, so let's get started. Mr. Gerlach from the Applied Tech Department is here to introduce to us Larkin. Come on up.
Just in case X is for you. I'm Mr. Gerlach. I teach in the Applied Technology department here. I have Larkin in my first period, Woods class. And I will say what Mrs. Ulix actually started out saying is Larkin came and saw me like after he found out he got awarded Student of the Month and was like, I was worried. I got a pass, and like normally passes for me are not great at this point. And he like went into this whole spiel, and he's like, why'd you do that? Why'd you nominate me? And I'm like, well, and then I kind of settled him down a little bit, and I told him he's been great for me this year. He comes in every day, motivated to work. He's actually probably the furthest along in his project at this point, second project. And I've got nothing but good things to say about him, okay, from me this year so far, and I know we've had some struggles with him in the past, and I think he's making big strides to kind of change that. And so, like, people notice things when they happen, and that's kind of what I told him, like, you're making improvements. We're seeing this, and people do recognize this. Mr. Kelch himself is our auto teacher here, and like, I think he could just about tell him to lick the floor at this point in time, and he would probably almost do it. He'd think about it at least in the auto lab also. So all these things that go into, you know, being a high school student and making changes and improving, and you know, we do notice them for the most part as teachers. So for him to make the strides and make the changes, it doesn't go unnoticed by hopefully most of us, and that's why I nominated him Student of the Month. Stay here, we get to take another picture. Yeah. Okay. Here, we'll get. Who's first? Awesome.
Okay, next we have Miss Lewick from the math department here to introduce to us Ellie. Come on up.
Okay, I'd like to say I picked Ellie for a lot of different reasons, and attitude towards math, which is maybe not everyone's favorite, is one of them. And so I'm going to read it because I don't want to like forget anything that I wrote. So here's what we have to say about Ellie. Ellie's effort, discreet and positive attitude, and drive to learn, especially in math, makes her an absolute joy to have in class. She comes in every day, ready to learn no matter how difficult the material has been or how long the day has been. Throughout the year, Ellie has grown to take responsibility for her own learning and will often stop by my desk to ask a quick question or two just to ensure she's on the right path. It's so refreshing to see a student be proactive and take responsibility for his or her own learning. Math may or may not be Ellie's favorite subject. No? Yeah. Okay. But she doesn't give up, and she's continued to improve all year. Her tenacity is one of the favorite qualities she has. Ellie is not only a wonderful student to have in class, but she's truly genuine and a caring person. She never fails to ask how I am or seeks to get to know others. Ellie never has an excuse and always performs to her highest ability in class. I know I can always count on her to meet the challenges head-on with positivity and drive. She also encourages all of those around her. It's a wonderful opportunity to nominate Ellie for Student of the Month. She's most deserving.
Ellie, when Mrs. Lewick asked you if math was your favorite subject, I didn't see your answer. Did you say yes? Good job. All right. We now would like to invite Mr. Sabatino from the Physical Welfare Department to introduce to us Jalen. Come on up.
All right, it's my honor to have nominated Jalen Pitts for Student of the Month. I haven't known him for very long, but just first, take from him, the first time I met him, I could just tell that he had like a certain type of gravity, charisma, and like a genuinely good quality to him. So, like I said, I've only had him for part of the semester in health class, but he's been a phenomenal student. So I'll go ahead and read what I have for my excerpt on this. Jalen is enthusiastic, an attentive student that always exhibits on-test behavior. He consistently contributes to discussions, Q&A sessions, and is never hesitant to ask for clarification or additional guidance. Most of all, he's warm, genuine person that his peers gravitate to. He's a positive role model, and I look forward to seeing him grow throughout his high school career. He's also a fantastic dancer, by the way. So, yeah. In fact, no, I'm sorry, that was not. But I will say this on top of that, is that we had finished up an activity today, and a lot of kids, when they finish something a little bit early, where do they go to? They're on their phones, they're playing games. He comes over and asks me what he can read next to get ahead in class. So he's got a lot of endearing qualities, and like I said, don't know him that well, but I'm really excited to see you grow and get to know you better.
Jalen, it is no surprise that Mr. Sabatino says that you're warm and genuine, because with that smile that lights up, seriously, it's contagious. Congratulations. All right, next we have Mr. Bogomil, who is actually going to be standing in for Mr. Gluskin, who could not be here from the English department, and he is going to be sharing what Mr. Gluskin says about Maggie Hutchins. So come on up.
Well, this morning I got an email from the front office asking if I could present Maggie for Student of the Month, and I was excited. I said, I'm honored. And they told me it was from an English teacher, and I got a little nervous what I have to read here because I hope I could pronounce everything. But what a great student and even a finer person, so no one's probably more deserving than you, Maggie. I just want to read what Mr. Gluskin had to say. Maggie exemplifies so many positive traits of a successful student overall and of a talented staff member for the school news magazine, Drops of Ink. In her first year on staff, she has enthusiastically tackled any assignments that come her way, whether it's thinking of story ideas, writing an article, taking pictures, or designing infographics. See, he tried to test me there on that word. So. Her ability to do this wide variety of tasks, all of what she does very well, makes her a valuable member of our publication staff. In addition to the fact that she collaborates well with others and isn't afraid to try new things. Maggie is friendly, responsible, and reliable, and I've enjoyed working with her this year. For these reasons and more, she is certainly deserving of this recognition. Congratulations. Thanks.
If you have never had a chance to read our Drops of Ink, you really should pick up a copy if you get a chance. Our students are so talented, and Maggie, I know you are part of that team and do an awesome job with that, so thank you for your service to that. Next, I'd like to introduce you Miss Rubin from the World Languages Department, and she is going to bring up Elizabeth. Come on up.
Hi, everybody. My name's Miss Rubin, and I am the Latin teacher here at LHS. And before I read what I wrote about Elizabeth, I just wanted to, mention back to what Mrs. Ulick said about why we're all here. And I think it's super easy for students and even teachers a lot of times to get wrapped up in the competitive, hardcore nature of the school and think that grades define them, but that's very far from true in my class. And I think it's important for us to praise and recognize students for all their many qualities, even if they don't necessarily mean, they're an all-A student. Not that that applies to you, but I just wanted to say that I'm really happy to share some different reasons for why I've chosen Elizabeth to be Student of the Month. So for a long time now, I have privately admired Elizabeth's many qualities as a student, and even more importantly than that, as a person. And I'm super excited to have the opportunity now to share with all of you what a special young lady she is. First of all, she's probably one of the kindest, gentlest, and most considerate students that I know, that I've ever had. She's the one who is willing to share her vocabulary sheet 5 minutes before there's a quiz. She's the one who thinks to ask her teacher how her weekend was, how she's doing. And she's the one who remembers to bring birthday treats on the right day with no reminders. Elizabeth is 100% authentic, and I really believe that's why people gravitate to her. She is accepting and non-judgmental and considerate and thoughtful. She sounds pretty amazing, right? But I'm not finished. I'd like to mention something else about Elizabeth that deserves respect and recognition. This year hasn't been an easy one for Elizabeth. She's faced some truly difficult challenges to her health and wellness that would honestly cause the average person to teeter, if not crumble outright. Elizabeth, however, has displayed such resilience. She has an incredible strength about her. She confronts her challenges face on, head first, and she comes to school every day with her head high when it would be so much easier to stay home beneath the covers. I am so proud and not a little humbled by this incredible girl. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Ms. Rubin, that is so admirable, all of those. I'm writing down all the traits that people are mentioning in there, and I couldn't write fast enough, all of those wonderful things. So thank you for sharing that. Mr. Thomas, he is going to come up for the Fine Arts Department and introduce to us Gracie.
Last year, when Gracie was a freshman, she spent about 2 days in my theater, intro to theater class before she dropped it. It was because of a schedule change. She didn't want to. But I was so excited when, as a sophomore this fall, I saw that she was on my roster again. And she took theater workshop all fall semester. And now she's also in acting studio class as well this semester. I've loved watching her grow and see her really dig into her potential and make some brave choices and just enjoy class so much. In the district, we've recently been talking and recently embraced kind of an idea for the definition of the kind of success we want our students to have at LHS and Vernon Hills High School as well. And that comes from a quote from Maya Angelou, who says that success is loving life and daring to live it. So I think as a theater teacher, what better way is there to find success than to discover your passions as a theater student and then live those both on and off stage and explore them in that way? And Gracie does just that. It's really wonderful to see her both on and off stage in the classroom, but also in our extracurricular program as well, do those things. She's done a lot. She's not only been involved in our theater program since her freshman year, but this year she chose to take a position that was really a thankless role in our fall musical. She was the child wrangler. We had 23 children in our show that were in The King and I, and she did so much work with those kids, and not only being responsible for them and keeping them happy and joyful, but also making sure that they, as little tiny actors, were able to do their job on stage too. It was a really stressful role, and she handled it with grace. She also, no pun intended, she also has shined on stage too. Most recently in our freshman-sophomore play, she took a role in a double cast where she was playing one role, and then when another student was unable to fulfill their role, she then also performed in the other cast as well. And to take on that responsibility the week before the show is something that is not to be taken lightly, and she excelled. So once and again, not only has she done a lot, but like many other students here, I'm nominating Gracie not just for what she does, but because of who she is. She's kind-hearted, she's a good friend to her peers, and her peers look to her and watch her discover her passions and live them out, and I see them also emulating that as well because of who she is. So for that and more, I'm honored to have Gracie as our Theater Student of the Month.
So Gracie, it sounds like you're a natural in theater. Is this something that you want to pursue later? Is it? Good for you. Awesome. Congratulations. Next, I would like to introduce to you Mrs. Kim from the science department, who will introduce to us Luke. Come on up.
So again, I'm Karen Kim from the chemistry department, and first I'm going to read my paragraph that I put in the general sheet. So Luke has displayed outstanding effort in his academic work, in addition to being a helpful, positive influence to those around him. Luke applies himself to all areas of chemistry class, including homework, quizzes, tests, and lab reports. What makes Luke stand out is his ability to work well with many different people in both the classroom and the laboratory, whether it's a small group of 2, large group of 4, or more. Luke's able to keep the task moving and helps order a high quality of work. These actions of being the quiet person behind the scene can often be overlooked, but they mean a lot to the people involved. Okay, that's a pretty generic paragraph that says, yeah, Luke's a really great guy. Okay, here's all the details that that need to be filled in between all those sentences. So Luke's in my 8th period chem class, and my 8th period chem class has a lot of energy. And I like energy, but I do spend a lot of time keeping that energy going in the correct direction. And so Luke always has his energy going in the right direction. I don't need to worry about him regardless of who he's paired up with. He actually helps that person get their things done too. Also in this 8th period class, I also have quite a few diverse personalities, which has a lot of dynamics when you talk about class dynamics. And regardless of who Luke is teamed up with, he's able to work with that person, be successful himself, as well as making the other people successful, again, in this diverse group of students, which are hopefully right now doing okay up in 8th period. I asked Luke if he could tell his mom some stories later. He's like, no, not about 8th period. So Luke, congratulations, and keep your focus as you keep going throughout your high school career and keep adding your own personal touch. Congratulations. So you're up.
Luke, thank you for your quiet leadership and for being a role model to our students. Much appreciated. Is that an 8th period class, did you say, Mrs. Kim? Yeah. Wonder what's happening right now. All right. Lastly, and certainly not least, I would like to introduce Mr. Schroeder from the LST G through P, and he is going to share with us why he chose Matthew as Student of the Month.
I'd first like to say how much I enjoy Student of the Month because it's just a genuine experience. Obviously, the end result is the recognition for students like Matthew, but to also just look out and see the parents that we've been able to connect with over the years and to work with and alongside to help kind of get to this point where then their student is recognized. It's a genuine experience that I really appreciate, and you leave feeling better than when you came here. So I appreciate that about this experience. With Matthew, and I have to put my glasses on here in a minute because I can't see, the LST as a whole, has nominated Matthew. And with that means that not only myself as the team director, but the counselors, social workers, ESP staff, we all get together and write words down. So I'm going to read this because this is from the whole LST and I don't want to miss anything, okay? The G through P LST have proudly selected Matthew Johnson as our representative for Student of the Month. Matthew is a sophomore, and over the past year, we have continued to be impressed with his growth, maturity, and poise. We are so proud of the remarkable personal growth that we have observed in him throughout the last 2 years. Matthew, like many of our students, has faced some hurdles, but he's worked to overcome them. He has not let these challenges stop him. Not only is Matthew a wonderful example of resiliency and growth, he is developing into a more driven and dedicated student, working hard to finish out his sophomore year on a positive note. It has been a pleasure for us to get to know Matthew these last 2 years, year and a half, almost 2. Matthew is a personable young man with an excellent sense of humor and is well-liked. He has a contagious smile. There you go. Contagious smile, which is appreciated by adults and peers alike. Matthew is also a bright young man who is genuine, respectful, and willing to help others. We are confident he will be successful in future endeavors. Now, within the learning support team, we get to see one side or a couple different sides of a student, but we also reach out to their teachers if they want to provide some feedback and to make a statement. 2 of your teachers, Miss Bosman in psychology, says, MJ is always contributing to class and is going above and beyond to connect the content. He is a student that I can rely on to respond to questions when the rest of the class seems to remain quiet. Miss Colombo, formerly, or Mrs. Colombo, formerly Miss Gavin, writes, MJ, as I know him, has shown real and consistent improvement since the first semester. I admire his perseverance. I have enjoyed seeing him develop his skill set in Spanish, and I often get thoughtful and profound work from him. Also, we tend to turn to him in class to enlighten us about the difference in British versus American English. British versus American English. I appreciate his wry sense of humor. Overall, it is a joy to have this young man in class. So I think that says it all. Congratulations. Yeah, come on. 50. Hey, good job. What's up? Nah, with that, we'll leave those off. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Matthew, how wonderful to be recognized by not only one individual, but a whole team of people. So congratulations. As I was standing and listening to all the presentations, as I said, I was taking some notes on some of the things that were said, and so many of the same things come up. Our students are warm and genuine, kind, gentle, caring, authentic, thoughtful, mature, resilient, showing perseverance, brave, well-liked, people that confront challenges, collaborators, reliable, and I could go on and on. I have so much here. But really, that starts at home. So parents, you are getting an award today in addition to the students because they could not be this or do this without the role models that you are at home and the support that you give our students every day. So hats off to you for this award and for the awards that your students are receiving today. You should feel very proud. And students, you should be proud too because you are being recognized out of 2,000 students at Libertyville High School this month. So it's a really unique honor, and we're glad that we could be here to celebrate it with you. So we're just gonna make students feel awkward one more time, because we're gonna take a group photo. So why don't we go ahead? I think we're a small enough group that we can do it right here in this area. Michelle, is that okay? And then parents, feel free to jump on up. If you want a group shot, you can come on up. So parent paparazzi will take pictures after our own paparazzi, and then you are free to enjoy the treats over here and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you so much for coming.